And welcome back to Boost Boerne Business here on Boerne Radio, 103.9 FM. Baron Wiley broadcasting from downtown Boerne, Texas, and over in downtown Helotes, Texas. Listen, if you're a parent, grandparent, or just love family, love great stories, I've got one for you here right now. I am here with Jennifer McCarville. You are the founder, right?
I am the founder,
President,
yes.
CEO, principal?
Executive director. We're a nonprofit.
Oh, that name of that nonprofit, Save Childhood.
Marvelously Made is the umbrella. And then under that, we have 2 schools, a process art studio for children, the Save Childhood movement, and an amazing children's toy store.
And you have an amazing story. I'm so glad that you're listening, because sit down and get ready to just be blown away. All right, let's just start from the beginning. How did this happen?
Well, I've been an educator for over 30 years.
Yeah.
And about 17 years ago, I decided that I was going to step out of education because I was very discouraged that we knew what children needed, but we weren't putting it into practice. So I was taking a break, and I started a preschool at a church there in Helotes. They asked me to do that, and I said yes. And I told them I would do that, but I would never compromise development. And so they said, great. The pastor there was actually a second career pastor. She'd been an educator, and she was amazing. And so I did, and intended to be preschool, but now we go through 3rd grade in our school for young children. And since then, we've added a 4th through 8th grade school, an art studio for children, the store, and Save Childhood is our education and advocacy movement that's come out of the work at the school, where we educate and equip parents and other educators to implement best practices and to know what children really need to save childhood for this generation.
Well, Save Childhood sounds like it's very big.
It's a lofty goal, but I think it can happen.
All right. So when you came up with that name, Save Childhood, what are we saving our kids from?
Well, the things that are happening in society have changed so drastically, but what children need hasn't changed. So, what we're doing is we're pushing children, we're pushing them harder, we're pushing them younger. We're not giving them the opportunities to build the skills that they need as the foundation for academics. We don't understand how they grow and learn. And when that happens, we have inappropriate expectations of them. So we're putting them in these inappropriate environments where we expect behaviors that are older, we expect academics that are inappropriate, we expect them to sit still and be quiet.
But they're kids.
But they're kids, and they need to move, and that's how they're made. They're made to move. So we've been able to identify what we call the tenets, the 14 things that we're doing that are really saving childhood for the children at our school. And we know that because we've seen it. And a parent shared that with us about 8 years ago, that we were saving childhood for her children and for other children. And so we really were humbled and overwhelmed by that concept. Like you said, it's a big deal. But we decided we needed to figure out how we could identify what is it that saves childhood, like you said, and then how can we help other people as we continue to share what we are learning, what we're doing. And we're not perfect, for sure, but we don't get development out of order.
Correct. All right. So these tenets, you've got them listed on your website, savechildhood.org. And I love the very first one at the top. It says unplug.
Yes. What screens are doing to children and what they're robbing them of. I think one of the things that we talk about is the cost of everything. When you're putting children on screens, not only are there implications to their brain networking and to their social skills and to their verbal skills and to their motor skills, right? But you also are robbing them of the things they do need. So Unplug is one of the things we talk about, and in parent education classes, that's not the most favorite topic you can imagine.
But a lot of parents think that they're helping their kids by putting that screen in front of them, but they got to stay skilled. They think they're giving them a skill by doing that.
You're right. They do. We hear that a lot, and helping them understand why that is actually not necessary. And it's very, very easy for children to learn how to use technology. I mean, we know that as soon as something new comes out, the children are the ones who can pretty immediately put it into play, right? So,
and it's hard to hold a phone and climb a tree.
It actually is. It actually is.
Go climb a tree or something.
Right. And
go outside.
Yeah. Just go outside. That's one of our tenets too. Go outside. They need to be outside. They need to be moving and playing and thinking. So.
Excellent. Again, we're looking at a list of your tenets at savechildhood.org. And I love this one already because Boerne Radio loves it. Sing.
Sing, yes, that's an important one. Singing is, well, we know that this work is soul work. And so what's happening in early childhood, it really will sustain them throughout their lifetimes. And in the first 5 years of life, the emotional brain has hold, and music is stored there.
Yes.
And so those songs that we're singing to children in these first 5 years especially, but through early childhood, which educationally is through third grade, those songs will stick with those children throughout their lives.
Right.
And there's research that proves that the songs you learn in childhood are the last songs you remember before you die. That those memories are so deep in this essence of our souls and who we are.
Correct.
So singing good songs with children and meaningful songs with children, and knowing that you're reaching right into the most emotional, deep parts of their souls.
That hits home with me because I was 7 years old at a small church in Houston, Texas, and a gospel band came in and they broke down and did Let the Sun Shine In.
Yeah.
And I was filled with a joy. That was the day of my salvation that stays with me for the rest of my life.
Yes,
it's
beautiful.
Filled with it from music and the song. And now look what I'm doing today.
Right.
So important that you're doing that. The music programs in schools are getting cut.
Right.
You know?
It's really,
and you're
really
saying, no, it's
unfortunate.
number one.
It's one of
in
the
top 14.
Absolutely. It's in the top 14. The 14 cover it all. But yeah, it is really, really important. We realize the impact we have as we're pouring those things in. And musical connections in the brain are so vitally important for so many other academic skills. You know, that music and art build neural pathways that are so vitally important for mathematical learning and language learning. And we have replaced really singing with children with a lot of information. You know, and even the songs that we sing with the youngest children are often to teach something. And I think that's really unfortunate because I don't really want the children to be singing the cleanup song on their deathbed, you know?
Wow. That's good.
I want them to be singing something like Joy, Joy, Joy. I want them to be singing songs like Amazing Grace, or just those beautiful songs that are really going to sustain them throughout their lives.
I love
and
it.
There's a connectedness with music too. So you immediately make bonds and you have sense of belonging in communities when everyone can sing, you know, Go Tell It on the Mountain, or everyone can sing,
Right.
you know, any of those songs that we know, and we have to keep moving through generations because you have children who can start singing that song in a group, and great grandpa will know it too. And that connectedness of the way music and singing brings us together is so vitally important for just developing our humanity.
One more, the last one here, and we'll talk about the curriculum, of course, but create. I love that as well.
Create, yes. So we're made to create. We're made to make. I mean, we actually are designed to contribute. We're designed to garden and build and cook and create things that didn't exist before. And children are now in a place in education where everyone's telling them how to do everything instead of giving them the space and the materials to really nurture that natural desire and ability to create. And we want children to move through life with skills that they can feel competent about. And it's very important to us at Marvelously Made that the children are contributors to the world, not consumers only.
Yes.
And so creating things, we do a lot of art. There's a lot of handwork involved in that. And the difference would be that handwork are things like knitting and crocheting and making things that could be useful but also beautiful, weaving. And all of our children start working with yarn from the time that they're 3, and they work with clay, and they're creating things to contribute to the world. So creating is just so important, and it's a beautiful way to build our brains. And when you're using your hands, you're building connections in your brain, which also help you with academic endeavors as well.
And again, it's in the name, marvelously made by our creator.
Yes.
The one who is teaching us to create is the creator.
Exactly.
So you're reflecting the kingdom in all this as well.
Yes, yes. And that was really, when I founded the school, like I said, I was really discouraged about what was happening in education. And as with my faith beliefs, knowing that God made us marvelously made, our job as educators, parents, adults who care about children and who care about what's happening in society have an obligation to understand how children are made so that we can give them what they need to thrive. So yes, Psalm 139:14. And actually, you always hear wonderfully made. Marvelously made is, to my knowledge, only in the Message Bible. But when I read it in that translation, I love that very much. So
we know where it comes from.
Yes.
You're good. Bernie knows where that comes from. But you're in Helotes. And ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to get a tour, you've got some open houses. Or how do we make that happen?
Yes, if you'd like to see the school where the Save Childhood tenets are in action every day and the children are thriving and the parents are becoming educated and advocates for their children.
Yes.
And I firmly know and believe that when we educate parents about what children need, they will be the ones that change education. And we need to be sure we're giving them the right information. But we will start tours. They're listed on our website now, which is marvelouslymadeschool.com. And you can sign up for a tour in January, and registration for the new year begins in February.
Excellent. The main website is savechildhood.org. Again, talk to me about the curriculum.
Yes. So we do design the curriculum ourselves because boxed curriculums, just open and go curriculums don't honor development. And we want to also have a sense of community and belonging, which is so important for our mental health. And so we want it to be relevant. Again, learning has to have an emotional attachment in these ages for sure to stick. So we want to make sure we can make it relevant. So our teachers are extremely gifted and consistently learning and growing in how to create curriculum that does honor development. We do use some resources that we pull from, but we make sure that when we do that, we've worked hard and invested many hours and years pouring into the developmental sequence of what the children will be introduced to in each of the different developmental stages.
So do the parents have homework to make sure that they're also creative at home and all that kind of stuff?
We don't give them homework. The children don't have homework either.
Oh, wow.
They do a few projects at home, about 1 or 2 a year, that are a very gentle and lovely thing. We want them to love learning.
Yes.
We want them to love reading. So we make sure that in honoring the development, we give them that opportunity, and that counts with homework too. So they have a few projects that their timelines are flexible and fit their family, because family matters. We offer opportunities for parent education. We have 2 parent education nights a year that the parents are expected to attend. And then we also have a parent book club that we call the Book Talk that's optional. And we offer other opportunities, classes through Save Childhood. We'll offer classes on different topics. And we hope they take advantage of those. We now have a podcast through Save Childhood for that reason.
Cool.
So that they can just go in and say, why does this episode say toddlers can't read? I think my toddler can read. And it'll tell you what the brain is doing and why it might appear that way, but what real reading needs in the toddler years as a foundation. So hopefully they're doing their homework.
Yes.
But we don't require it.
Excellent. And so with that, too, a lot of these resources are in your store.
In our store, Root and Twig, we have very beautifully sourced materials that should be filling children's homes, that really are kid-powered, that nurture creativity and intellect, games the families can play, just a lot of beautiful things. Children don't need a lot of things. They need the right things.
Yes.
And as we fill our school with those things, the parents have consistently over the years asked, where can I get these kinds of things? I go into stores and it's plastic and it makes so much noise. And, if toys do one thing, they're not nurturing problem solving, creativity. We don't know what jobs are going to look like for these children.
Right.
They don't need information. Information is readily available. What they need is the ability to tinker, solve problems. And actually, a while back, NASA added having tinkered as a child to part of their requirements for application there.
Wow.
I mean, it's so important for solving problems that NASA recognizes if you didn't spend tinkering time in your childhood, and lots of it, you're not going to be able to help us.
Tinkeringtime.com, I think, is your new, it's the new site there, but that's awesome. That's fantastic.
It's really important. And so knowing what the open-ended things are that children need, and the store is full of them, and they're just lovely. So rootandtwigstore.com is the website for that. And we're right there next to the school in Old Town Helotes, next to Old Town Shops.
Excellent. By the way, you are more than welcome to bring the kids to Boerne, Texas, and have them hang out in the radio station, and we'll record their voices for something. Would that be cool?
We would totally do that.
All
yes.
right.
Thank you for that invitation.
Well,
we will take you up on it.
I've done this with other schools here in Boerne, and they come on and they do the Pledge of Allegiance and they sing Jesus Loves Me and in the microphones, and it's you're capturing this little moment in time. It's
precious.
Fantastic.
Yeah, yes, that's wonderful. We would love to take you up on that.
Jennifer McCarville, invite our listeners to come see you.
We would love for you to visit us at savechildhood.org or marvelouslymadeschool.com. And you can follow us on Facebook. We have our podcast is on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We're also on Instagram and TikTok.
Wow.
Yes.
That's what you have to do here in 2025.
That's what you have to do. And so we're making our way.
Can I ask you one last question? You stated you're a nonprofit. So what are your biggest needs? How can people help the school and Save Childhood?
Yes, our biggest needs are, of course, always going to be financial support. So there's that, and also volunteer support. So we utilize volunteers to do so much of what we do. We have animals in the school that take a lot of time to care for. We have gardens, things that you can pour into, and also just share the message of what we're doing.
Yeah, animals, what kind?
Well, we have alpacas and sheep because in our handwork, the children are now able to take the fiber from those animals and move it all the way through to yarn. They know how to clean it and card it and dye it with natural dyes from the garden. And then they spin it into yarn so they can weave with it. And they felt, so the roving before it's spun, they use that. Again, we want them to know that we should be contributing to the world and also thinkers about where does this come from? And really caring about the contribution instead of just give me, which is so much of what we see. And so we're always embedding those things in our environment for them. So we have 2 of each: alpaca, sheep, goats, pigs. We also have a lot of animals inside. We have hissing cockroaches and snails and a rat and hermit crabs. And I know I'm forgetting, but we have a couple of kinds of lizards. We have a bearded dragon.
Yeah, we had lizards and hamsters back in the day. We didn't have alpaca. Come on.
I know. It's pretty amazing there in Helotes. We can do that. So we have kitty cats and and so we just kind of run the gamut. We have a turtle and a tortoise.
Jennifer, this is a joy. This is fun.
Thanks.
You guys, are you having fun?
I'm having fun, and I really appreciate you having us on to share the work we're doing at Save Childhood.
SaveChildhood.org again is the website. And again, I say God bless you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for listening to Boerne Radio 103.9 FM.